Did you know the Bible records people living over 900 years before the flood? And if they lived that long, here's the real question. Were they also much bigger than we are today? Stay with me, because the evidence might surprise you.
What if the people who built the ancient world were not just older, but much larger than we are today?
The Bible tells us something fascinating about the world before the flood. In Genesis chapter 5, we read about men who lived for centuries.
Methuselah lived 969 years. Think about that for a moment. If humans lived almost 1,000 years, could their bodies also have been stronger, healthier, and much larger? Some researchers believe the conditions of the early Earth, before the flood, may have supported larger and longer living humans. But that raises another question. Is there any evidence that humans have actually grown to enormous size?
The Bible actually mentions giants.
In 1 Samuel 17:4, we meet Goliath, described as 6 cubits and a span. That equals roughly 9 feet 9 inches tall. Now pause for a moment. If a warrior like Goliath existed thousands of years after the flood, what might humans have looked like before the flood? Even in modern times, humans have grown to enormous size. One famous example is Robert Wadlow, the tallest man ever measured. He stood 8 feet 11 inches tall and wore a size 37 shoe. That is almost 9 feet tall. Today, the tallest living man, Sultan Qasim, stands 8 feet 3 inches. Scientists explain that extreme height can occur when the pituitary gland produces excess growth hormone, so humans can grow extremely large. But that leads to another question. If humans today can reach almost 9 feet tall, what might humans have reached in a world with perfect environmental conditions? Over the last century, there have been many reports of large human skeletons discovered around the world. Reports include skeletons measuring 9 feet tall in Nevada, 9 feet 8 inches in Indiana, 10 feet tall in Louisiana, 11 feet 6 inches discovered in an Italian coal mine. Some discoveries even described groups of skeletons 8 to 9 feet tall wearing armor. And in Tucson, Arizona, a skeleton reportedly had 6 toes and ceremonial clothing. Now, whether every report is verified or not, they raise an interesting question. Why do so many historical reports describe extremely large humans? Even some scientists acknowledge periods of human gigantism. Paleoanthropologist Lee Berger described fossils of ancient humans that were routinely over 7 feet tall. He explained that these were not abnormalities. They were found in large numbers. Another discovery involved enormous jawbones and teeth belonging to Gigantanthropus, which scientists concluded were definitely human-like. One researcher stated, "Gigantism and massiveness may have been a widespread character of early mankind." So again we ask, could ancient humanity have included entire populations of giants? The Bible describes a world very different from today. Many researchers who study biblical history believe the pre-flood Earth may have had higher oxygen levels, different atmospheric conditions, greater biological vitality. In such an environment, plants, animals, and even insects may have grown much larger. So it is possible that humans were also larger and stronger. Imagine this for a moment. If Noah himself was 10 or even 12 feet tall, how much larger would the ark have been when he built it? His arms would have been longer, his stride larger, his tools bigger. The ancient world might have been built by people far larger than we imagine.
So were the giants of the Bible just myths or real people?
The evidence tells us several things. The Bible records giant warriors like Goliath. Modern humans have reached nearly 9 feet tall. Scientists acknowledge periods of human gigantism. Fossil discoveries show extremely large ancient humans. All of this suggests something fascinating. Human beings are clearly capable of enormous size, and if that is true today, what might humanity have looked like before the flood, when people lived for 900 years? Were the builders of the ancient world ordinary people, or were they giants?
Think about it and let me know what you've uncovered.